This is a carburetted 900 Supersport rear wheel, same as a 90s Monster rear wheel, 17mm axle. This one done about 43,000 Ks. When it came in, I could feel some movement in the rear wheel bearing, so I popped the wheel out and the bearing was loose in the wheel, which I see occasionally, and you really don't want to see it because it's a pretty hard thing to fix in my experience. But what I have tried is I have used Loctite 680 retaining compound and also the primer, which is SF7471, which is what I was told I should be using. So cleaned it up, bit of Scotch-Brite to give it a bit of a really good clean, brake clean, primer, let it go off, Loctite. It's had a weight sitting on it for 3 days now. You could just put the axle in with a spacer and tighten the bearing up against the sleeve inside to make sure it's bottomed out. But we'll see how it goes. I have used bearing retainers to fit bearings in rear wheels before and not really had it be successful because they get a fair bit of pounding. So I'll be curious to see if this one works. So I was playing with this wheel and I suddenly realized that the spacer between the bearings was jammed in the wheel. And you can see the bearing retainer that's around the spacer, and that was the right hand end that was down on the disc side, which is the bearing that I put in. And I now have realized that the bearing behind the sprocket carrier here is also not tight in the wheel. It's nowhere near as loose as the other one was. The one on the disc side, I could get, I think, my 0.07 feeler gauge down between the bearing and the wheel. So there was about 3 thou total clearance on the disc side. This side is nowhere near that loose, but I have to clean it up and I'll have to bearing fit it in as well. But this time I won't. I'll make sure I'll try and make sure it stays away from the spacer. I had to put the slide hammer into it to pull it out. That's how stuck it was.